Keep Right with Ralph K. Ginorio. When, not if, our enemies and our elites have set the stage for the first major battles on American soil since Lee and Grant met at Appomattox Courthouse in 1865. Their preparations have been so thorough that widespread battles in our streets, along with the prospect of parts of our land actually being occupied by an enemy army, are more likely than not. To most Americans, such notions are literally unthinkable. We can imagine global thermonuclear war more easily than the possibility of our being attacked by armies from within. But thanks to our own elites, the unthinkable is quite possible. The Bush wing of the Republican Party established a post-Cold War pattern of Americans bankrolling the massive construction of industries in the People's Republic of China. Entrepreneurs were assured that investing in Red China would bring both peace and profits. U.S. businesses would benefit from production in a region which, despite its nominal communism, had very low labor costs, no effective workplace safety laws, or environmental regulations. The world would benefit by such wholesale Western investment, which they hoped would encourage China to liberalize. Just days after the June 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre, George H.W. Bush sent assurances to Deng Xiaoping that any kerfuffle caused by the massacre would be quickly put aside to smooth the path for U.S. investment. From then through the present day, American businesses have been encouraged by both the U.S. government and international bankers to invest in communist China. But the Chinese Communist Party has done everything other than liberalize. Under Jiang Zemin, Hu Jintao, and Xi Jinping, the CCP has systematically moved China back from Deng Xiaoping's anti-Maoist reforms towards the totalitarianism of Mao Zedong's Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution. Xi Jinping openly echoes Mao's domestic tyranny and foreign policy aggressiveness. Unlike Mao's impoverished and backwards nation, today's China is as high-tech as we are in the West. Today's China is truly dangerous to the entire world. The West's dealings with China have instead brought increasingly totalitarian tendencies to Europe, Australasia, and the Americas. We are increasingly dependent on Chinese manufacturers and on a global trading network that can be throttled by the CCP, both in and beyond the choke point of the South China Sea. Many within our Western elites have been corrupted with Chinese money. Biden. Others have been seduced by the apparent ease with which China's communist elites rule over their enslaved populations. Many graduates of Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, and other premier institutions throughout the West actually believe that they are self-evidently special people whose distinct qualities entitle them to control everyone else for their own good. Such hubris, shared by all would-be oligarchs, invites nemesis. These very elites have opened the borders of Western nations to a deluge of illegal migration. Elites all over the West have championed this Volkswanderung. They have willfully opened borders from California to Sweden and beyond. Open border advocates claim that birth control and abortion-induced lower native birth rates require a compensatory influx of population. This economic argument, coupled with a hyperbolic, histrionic sentimentalism, has made possible the introduction of well over 50 million aliens into Europe and the United States, who have not been properly investigated or vetted. This is the heart of our danger. Under Biden and his fellow travelers overseas, countless military-aged men have entered into our Western homelands. Many have been observed to be carrying identical gear. Increasingly, such aliens have been encountered trying to infiltrate our military establishments. Federal agencies have publicly released credible evidence that key bridges, railroads, and highway junctions and ports have all been reconnoitered. Our power plants, substations, and transmission lines, as well as our telecommunication network, have suffered intensifying physical infiltration and cybernetic attacks. Reservoirs, hydroelectric dams, and even our food supply are all at risk from attacks by enemy forces that may already be here within our borders. Western societies are utterly unprepared for this type of attack. Consider how a pair of snipers terrified and even paralyzed parts of Washington, D.C. in the weeks after the terrorist atrocities of September 11th, 2001. Imagine the panic that tens of thousands of such snipers operating nationwide could cause. Armies of tens of thousands of well-armed and organized foreign troops already embedded in or near our communities could suddenly attack cities and facilities deep within our heartland. Infiltrated units could even be equipped with mini nukes, dirty bombs, nerve gas, and super germs. Entire civil populations could be placed in jeopardy by such forces. The threat of their destruction could make countless civilians into hostages. The fundamental mindset of American citizens would be forever changed by such traumas. Our innocence would be the first thing to go. Our living standard would be reduced to an unremitting struggle for bare subsistence. In the ensuing anarchy, freedom would be a barely remembered dream. I hope that these notions are the product of my overactive imagination. But the Chinese Communist Party's ambitions to displace the West and rule the world are real. Western elites bankrolled their growing ability to achieve this goal. And those very same elites have exposed us to infiltration, invasion, and attack from within on a massive and unprecedented scale. If these nightmares come to pass, never forget who did this to us. I hope that no such things will occur. I fear that such terrors are not a matter of if, but of when.